Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. We're back to doing videos like this where it's a random Sunday because some news dropped. Unfortunately, this is not good news as TJ Edwards yesterday landed on NFI and 5 players land on the PUP list. We'll talk about all that and more on today's episode, including, is it going to get spooky for Kyler Gordon? All that and more coming up next. Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the page. You do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. Only channel talk Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you stay in tune with us, man. Listen, not the start to camp that we were hoping for, although one that for the most part with some of the names we did kind of expect. When you talk about Ozzy Trapilo, Noah Sewell, and Keyshaun Elliott, I think those are 3 names that we probably expected to pop up on the PUP list pretty early on here. But 2 names that I think are very, very important here as we're getting started, Shemar Turner and, of course, Kyler Gordon. You guys let me know by voting in the poll here in the chat if you are listening in. How worried are you about the Bears starting camp with 6 players sidelined? There's 4 options for you to vote on in there. But you've got those 2 that I think are the big names that you have to be at least a little bit concerned about. And then, of course, TJ Edwards on the non-football injury list, which I think, honestly, is probably a good sign that he's starting off on that non-football injury list because with the injury that he had, most of us probably would have expected him to be on the PUP list. But again, like I talked about, he was walking around when I was up there for the Brian Piccolo Awards, which he was the recipient of yet again, and he was moving around pretty well. So I think that, you're going to see TJ Edwards sooner than later. My concern around TJ is nowhere near as high as some of the other names. And Kyler Gordon, I think, is the biggest one for most people here. It doesn't mean that they're going to miss any regular season games to this point. It's kind of a precautionary thing when you're being placed on the PUP list. So it doesn't mean that the world is going to end. But remember when Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen have talked about Kyler Gordon recently, they talked about a trust that couldn't be built because Kyler wasn't available. That's, to me, where I think this gets really concerning if you're a Chicago Bears fan moving forward, is, are you telling me that there isn't this relationship that's being built behind the scenes with the player, which it makes sense, right? You're not on the field, you're not being coached, you're not in the system. How can I trust you when I put you out there? I think that changes things in a dramatic way for the Bears as you head into this season. The hope is, of course, that Kyler Gordon will eventually be available and be ready to go by the time we get to the start of the season. But yet again, you're talking about another offseason of rehab. You're talking about another offseason where he doesn't get in there and build this relationship with the team, learning the system, learning the scheme. Right? Kyler only played in 3 games last season. He hasn't had a lot of time in this system. He hasn't had a lot of time to build confidence in the system and for the coaching staff to build confidence in him. And what concerns me is, right, we've seen what happens when these coaching staffs aren't confident in you, especially this Chicago Bears coaching staff. Might I take you back to last season when we were watching Tyreek Stevenson standing on the sideline, not being put in the game, while players who were definitely worse, and I don't mean like a little bit worse, like, oh, it was comparable, but he does some intangibles that we kind of like, and so we're willing to put him out there. Players who were definitely worse in coverage were being utilized over Tyreek Stevenson because there wasn't that trust factor. They didn't feel that they could put Tyreek out there and that he was going to be the one to make the play, but also stay engaged in the game, stay locked into the game. And so I wonder if that's a situation where you could get into it here with Kyler Gordon. Now, the difference is with Kyler Gordon, there's not a lot of options down there. There's not, you don't have 5 or 6 great slot corners there. It's a little bit easier to say, hey, we've got names that we feel comfortable with on the outside, where Tyreek Stevenson is at, especially when you drafted Malik Muhammad, especially when you've added Terrell Smith back into the equation here. But you don't feel that same way about that slot corner position. And dare I say, and I think Dennis Allen hasn't shied about this. He hasn't been quiet about this. He hasn't, come out and been like, oh, that's not a guy that we're really too concerned about. When Dennis Allen showed up in Chicago, Chicago, the first name that he mentioned was Kyler Gordon. They want this guy to be out there. They want him to get the best opportunity. But when you talk about not being able to build trust in a player, I think that is something that goes a long way. And the fact that he's not out here yet again for training camp is a massive concern. Again, let me know how you guys feel down in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I'm gonna jump into you guys' comments as well. King Booker World in the building. Shout out to everybody in here who's in here. Savage Gorillas, Lord Crimson, as always, in the building. King Booker World in this mug. Venice 4247 in the building. Roddy B in the building. What's going on, my guy? RBF Shy in the building. Big shout out to everybody for tuning in and showing love. King Booker World said, if they ain't right, let them sit. Get well and get back out there. I agree with you, right? You don't want to force the issue. You don't want to force Kyler back out there. But this is a new regime. What did I tell y'all last season? Or I should say, leading up to last season, that a lot of people didn't want to listen to me about. You can be excited. You can feel good. You can, oh, he's going to be there no matter what. Don't you worry about it. They got rid of, I got to do the math on this. Let me see if I can do the math on this real quick. Turnovers. Tremaine Edmonds. They got rid of 30 plus turnovers last season in Tremaine. Kevin Byard, who kind of chose to leave on his own. It was between them and the Bears. The Bears were in on that. So maybe I'll take Byard off of there. So, but still 30 plus. Tremaine Edmonds, Nashawn Wright, and heck, you throw CJ GJ in there, who they didn't bring back, and Jaquan Brisker. This is a new regime. Your favorite Chicago Bear may not be your favorite Chicago Bear in 2 years. Yurko has talked about it a ton on the Chicago Bears podcast. Doesn't mean they're not good players. Means that you don't have that relationship with the new coaching staff to the point where they say, I have to keep you. That is a real situation here for Kyler Gordon. That is a real life situation here for Kyler Gordon. They didn't draft him. They didn't stick their necks out and say, let's go out there and make him one of the highest paid slot corners in football. They were inherited a player who had already gotten hit or already gotten paid. And they said, we like what he can do, but we got to see it. You know what they haven't been able to do? See it. Y'all know I think that Kyler Gordon is, when he's on the field, he's one of the best that there is out there in that slot corner position. I don't think that there are 5 guys better than Kyler Gordon at that spot right there. But the reality is, Kyler has another season that's an injury-filled season. He ain't going to be here. Oh, he's under contract. You get out of contracts real easy in the NFL. Real easy. And I want Kyler Gordon here. But yet again, we're talking about him dealing with another soft tissue injury. This is something that has plagued him just about his entire career. And there are moments where he has played through it. But now you're not in a situation where you're the team that's trying to build and find pieces. You're in a situation where you were in the playoffs last year, one pass away from potentially going to the NFC title game. There's real expectation. There is real thoughts that you could go out there and win the Super Bowl. They ain't going to hold that train up for Kyler Gordon. I want to see him hit this field, but I think the real reality is this is one that you have to keep a massive eye on. And dare I say, as I'm getting a phone call right now from my wife, who I have to text and tell I'm live. Hold on. Dare I say Have you guys listened to how they talk about Shemar Turner's injury? That could be a real concern as well. Willie says Poles is still there and he drafted him. Poles drafted Jaquan Brisker too. And Jaquan Brisker met every marker that was set out for him. He played in over, what do we say? He goes out there, he plays in over 85% of his games. He plays well. He creates turnovers. Of course you pay him. Jaquan Brisker's a Steeler. He met every marker, had one of the best games that a player probably had on the defensive side of the football in that Rams game. He was a dog. Jaquan Brisker's a Steeler. Ryan Poles drafted him high. Jaquan Brisker is a Steeler. Why is Jaquan Brisker a Steeler? You probably didn't want to take a chance paying a player who you know has had a history of football injuries. Like I said, I wanted Jaquan here. I want Kyler Gordon here. I think he's that talented of a player. He's got to be on the field. And yet again, how many times have you guys tuned into this channel and we're having this conversation right here? How many times have you guys tuned into the channel and we're discussing this right here? I think it's something that's going to be a concern as we head into the season. Keep your eye on that. Something else that I did want to get into was the Shemar Turner injury. Now, Shemar, for me, right, he had a big injury. I think it was a torn ACL last season. Don't know what the impact was on the knee. He deserves the time to come back. That is not my concern with Shemar. My concern with Shemar is how they're talking about his injury. They're not even really, like, whenever we have talked with, and I'm sure, listen, we'll speak with Ryan Poles on Tuesday. I'll be up there at the Hallis Hall to talk with him as well. I'll try to get this question in just to get a legitimate update on Shemar, but it's so vague with him. Like with everyone else, right? Like, it's even with Ozzy, it's like, look, we don't know what he's going to be, but he is on track. And hopefully, as we progress through the season, we'll see where he is. But, that's a long-term injury that there's going to be. That's an update. When they talk about Shemar, they just go, we'll see. Is he going to play at all? Shemar got hurt, what? Was that week 5, I believe, for Shemar Turner? So you already have had the surgery and been out probably just short of a year, just shy of a year here. Let's see, Shemar Turner, what game did he end up getting hurt in? Got hurt in, week 5. So he played 4 weeks, gets hurt in week 5. Week 5 would have been, as I'm doing all this Googling live on the air, Chicago Bears 2025 schedule. Week 5 would have been, there's no way that's week 5. I hate that they do this like from up to down. It's so weird to me. Okay. So Packers, that's preseason. Boom, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Week 5 would have been on September 25th. So he gets hurt in that. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's week 4. Week 5 is versus the Commanders. That would have been October 13th. So we're still under a year, right? We've still got some time there, but you would think that you're starting to see him, kind of get back on the field, kind of, starting to move through and say, hey, there's some progress here. We're moving in the right direction. He's on track or he's not on track. At least something. With Shemar right now, it's basically been, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. That, to me, I think is very concerning, because I would say if you talk about anybody, right, as much as we talk about Austin Booker as the guy who is going to take that next step, as much as we talk about Austin Booker as the guy who's going to be, he's going to be the one this year that's going to wow us, right? I thought that was supposed to be Shemar Turner, because that's a second-round pick. That's not somebody that you're just throwing on the back burner. That's a second-round pick who realistically was probably going to get to play a position that he feels more comfortable at on the edge. Some of his best seasons within his college career were him playing on that edge and being able to create a pass rush. Now, in the run game, he was solid, not great, but I think that you look at him as far as a player and you say that's kind of where he could actually impact this team in a major way. And we know that they're going to rotate all throughout that defensive line, but yet again, you got to be out there. And for him, definitely a much more serious injury, definitely an injury that's going to take a little bit longer for you to come back, but we've heard nothing. And then all of a sudden it's just PUP list, which not even surprised by PUP list, but give me PUP list with a little bit of, hey, you know what? He's on track. He's figuring it out. We're going to work through it, but we're going to start him probably off on the PUP list. That's all I could say. I can't go too in depth with the Shemar concern, because I don't know what I should be concerned or not concerned about. But it just feels like the guys that have had much more massive injuries, like an Ozzy Trapilo, we have gotten that update. We have seen that through the clouds. And so it makes me wonder, okay, is there something more here with Shemar, that maybe there was a setback? Maybe he's going to come back a little bit slower, right? Should we be mentally preparing for the Derrick Rose process of this versus mentally preparing for the, clearly it doesn't seem like we're going to get to the Adrian Peterson process of this. There's a lot here, especially defensively. I mean, you're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defensive players starting off on PUP and or NFI. That's a concern for you very early on here. Now, again, like I said, with TJ Edwards, I think that you talk about TJ starting off on NFI almost as a positive with the injury that he had last year, right? The fact that he's starting off not going to be there for a non-football injury. I look at that more as a positive than a negative, because there was a pretty massive football injury that could have kept him out to this point. But again, like I said, like I saw him walking around. There was no limp. He said he felt comfortable. He said he was feeling good. He was moving forward. He's progressing in the right direction. Didn't want to put a timeline on his time to return, but did feel like he was going to be able to return. When I saw NFI next to his name, I felt pretty good about what the Bears already had going, and that, or going with him, I should say, and that he was going to be able to progress in the right direction. We'll see what ends up happening. I wanted to, provide my thoughts on this, give a quick update here. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. As always, as you can see, I've got my White Sox Dick Butkus jersey on here. I'm going to be heading to the Sox game today. So if you're at the Sox game and you see me, say what up. Big shout out to you guys, man. Going to enjoy that time with, I think, who else coming with me? Mr. Two Letters is going to be there. Mr. Drew Better is going to be there. We got both of them in the building. And a couple members of my family going to be there. So if you see me at the Sox game, say what up. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let me know, like I said, your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure that you guys are sharing the content up, share the video up, man. And if you haven't done so, because you guys know that have been in there, for us, we're big on dropping content in the Discord exclusively, especially training camp updates and things like that. If you have not yet joined the Discord, comment below that you're looking to join the Discord, and I will have a link in the YouTube post page for you to join up in there as well. Also, if you haven't done so, this upcoming football season is going to be very, very exciting. We are going to be live for as many football games as possible over on the Twitch channel at Thursday night football, Monday night football, Sunday night football. As long as I don't have Bears duties that interfere with the game, I am going to be live for the game. That means there's going to be some Sundays where your boy is live for 12 hours of football. Oh, sweet Jesus. I can't wait. So make sure that you go follow me over on Twitch. We'll be doing it over there at Pat the Designer TV. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always, man. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down, one love. And let's hope that as news comes through, it's a lot better news than injury news. Peace.
Red Nation, are we here? The best show for Chicago sports.